I'm just gonna...
No! Hey, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Visual Effects Artists React. Today, we are looking at the most impossible of missions. All the fans they were trying to use were not fast enough. They used the wind turbines from indoor skydiving places.
Is it okay to say your movie has no CGI when it has CGI?
He doesn't need to be in a green suit.
They'll get a perfect key off him.
You know that's not how it works.
And put down your meat sandwich because we're taking a deep dive into the substance.
Don't talk to me until I've had my coffee. This episode has tons of stuff that we can't put on YouTube, so head on over to cordodigital.com to check it out.
Yeah, extended reacts. Go check it out.
The official Paramount YouTube channel has a video that says 10,000 feet with 170-mile winds, no CGI.
You can't say no CGI. You can say we shot it
Yeah,
for real.
you're right.
That's fine.
I know, that's like...
The no CGI is what sets me off because it's not true.
Yeah, you're right. It's like making a dish at a restaurant. It says, perfect steak with butter and no garlic.
Yeah.
And then there's like definitely garlic in it. And it's like, why does this taste so good? It tastes like there's yummy garlic in there.
No, there's no garlic.
No garlic.
It's like, what are you're lying.
No, but there is. And it's okay that there is because that makes it better, you know?
Why are you lying about this thing that doesn't matter? Like, why are you lying about it? It doesn't matter.
But why can't they just say, instead of saying no CGI, they could just say for real?
For real, exactly.
He did do a lot of this stuff for real.
And you get full credit for that. Like, it's amazing.
We've talked about the no CGI is really just invisible CGI videos, right?
Course.
We've all watched them, yeah. It is so funny just watching how these narratives about films kind of ripple throughout social media. They're just saying, oh yeah, everything you're seeing is 100% real. In the film, you're watching it and it is total disbelief. You're seeing him climb out of the cockpit of what looked to be an empty plane, balance on the wings, try and reach for the axle of the landing gear of the other plane. And it is absolutely insane. But they released behind the scenes clips of how they actually did that. And it's completely blowing my mind.
The little guy in a green suit back there?
Why is he in a green suit? He doesn't need to be in a green suit.
So, because when they're filming it, the camera guy goes, oh, he's gonna be painted out and deleted later.
I guess that's more of a communication reason.
They'll get a perfect key off him. It'll be seamless.
You know that's not how it works. You know that.
It helps a ton.
But just check out this insane rig they're doing. So they have a fake landing gear attached to a helicopter, and they're lowering him down onto the plane. And I was like, oh, obviously there's an actual pilot in the plane while they're doing it. We've seen this doctored behind the scenes footage at a certain point. You know, like we've seen that happen.
The Cinefix article for Mission 5, Rogue Nation, started with an infamous disclaimer that for the first time in the magazine's 35-year history, they were printing an article with no photos, because the images they received from the studio were flat out falsified and doctored.
Already we can tell a few things. First off, there's simple rig removal on him. But then also we see the mounted cameras everywhere on the plane. They're getting multiple angles for all these moments. So how are you gonna paint those out? Are you just literally gonna paint them out, or are you gonna replace that part of the plane with a 3D model? So now if you've had to replace that part of the plane with a 3D model, like, well, maybe more of the plane? You know, thinking about the Top Gun approach. So hold on, so now the plane's just 100% CGI, but the performance is still real. So he's still holding on to this stuff in a lot of these shots, but what we're looking at is a CGI plane.
I don't know when the pendulum will swing back for CG.
I think soon, because now it's gonna be AI versus CG.
Oh, dude, you're so
right.
right. Oh my gosh, it's our time. It's our time. We're finally not the bad guys anymore. It's like, no, this was made with handcrafted CGI.
All done for real with real CGI.
That's the next step. Okay.
If there's any other movies out there that said they did something for real, but they actually didn't, let us know in the comments or hop on over to our subreddit.
What's up, guys? Christian here. As I get older, I've realized life is just complicated sometimes. No one knows what they're doing out here. Just like in big blockbuster films, there's so many complex layers, and sometimes it's nice to just have someone on a couch help you break down those different layers and make sense of it all. And that's why I'm here to tell you about today's sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp is on a mission to start making therapy more easily approachable. A therapist will listen, ask questions, and give you a new perspective. They can give you advice and even techniques to help make positive changes in your life. All you gotta do is fill out a quick questionnaire and they'll match you with the therapist in just a couple days. And if it's not the right fit the first time, you can easily switch therapists at no extra cost. I've personally been using therapy through BetterHelp for like 3 years now. I can't stress how important it is to find somebody that you're comfortable talking with. I actually had a different therapist for the first few sessions and I was easily able to switch it up and find the perfect match that I am with today. It's easy to schedule meetings. You can do text messages, phone calls, or even video chats, all flexible, super easy to change, so I can keep it up consistently. So if you've been considering therapy or just want to check it out to see if it's something for you, just click the link in the description below or go to betterhelp.com/quartercrew and they'll give you 10% off your first month of therapy. I truly believe that therapy is a resource that everybody should be taking advantage of, and BetterHelp makes it really easy to do that. So until then, see you on the next React episode.
Well, I mean, I have a perfect segue here.
No, I have the perfect segue.
The perfect segue?
You do. You actually have a way better segue.
Yeah.
perfect
No, I know.
segue.
There's nothing you have that
There's
can beat my
nothing.
segue.
No, you have a better segue than me. Which leads us into our next clip.
This tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
Have you guys seen the first Mission Impossible movie? It came out
Yes.
29 years ago. There's an incredible sequence at the end of the first Mission Impossible movie that I still think holds up today.
Whoa.
They must have some high-powered fans. Yeah, whoa, where are they filming this at?
Well, they did it all for real. No CGI. The train is actually a real set filmed at the Pinewood Studio in England, and the actors are actually on a blue screen, a huge 140-foot long, 35-foot tall blue screen. They wanted to have all the wind necessary to make it look like they're going extremely fast. All the fans they were trying to use were not fast enough. What they ended up doing was they used the wind turbines from indoor skydiving places to get 140-mile-an-hour winds blasting them in the face. Tom Cruise is obviously on a wire doing the stunt, but he utilized the wind to help propel him forward. So that's actually a pretty realistic stunt. 140-mile-an-hour winds hitting you like this is gonna pull you more than the wires are. And for the close-up shots, they actually used compressed air to really get like the skin flapping on his cheeks.
That's such an important
That's
detail
cool.
for integration. Like that's what really cements it all.
Also, Sam, you've talked about this a lot.
Oh boy.
Light wrap.
Light wrap.
Have you noticed any?
Not really.
Exactly. I'm not really seeing the same type of light wrap that I see in a lot of modern movies, you know? This looks more realistic in that regard.
I'm getting the CGI whiff for sure.
Yeah, oh yeah.
What's CGI?
Well, not the train top. The helicopter in a lot of the shots is full siege.
The helicopter's really good for CGI. The animation is a little wacky. The way they're handling the reflections and highlights on it make it look very, very realistic.
So the helicopter is CG in every single shot. This is a very long sequence. This is like a 5-minute sequence of the movie, and it consists of 150 visual effects shots. This is almost like a little mini movie within the movie. So you got the outdoor sequence, in the tunnel sequence, and then the explosion sequence. All very different sequences from a production standpoint. The exterior scenes were actually shot in Scotland for the background plates. There's a 60-mile stretch of railway where they got the majority of the footage. And then they added the CG train and the helicopter to all of those shots. And they tried real hard to do a lot of this stuff practically. They tried to get a real helicopter, but with the speeds that they were allowed to go, it just wasn't working. They ended up having to do a full CG helicopter, and they did a really good job, especially when you look at all like the specular highlighting detail on it.
Yeah, that's the thing that really sells it for me.
They used a bunch of like in-house tools to do all the lighting and rendering for this stuff at ILM. ILM did all of the visual effects. John Knoll was the VFX supervisor on this entire sequence. Pretty insane stuff that they did.
Honestly, it looks real at times. Like in this shot, for example, that looks real.
That's nice.
It looks like, or at least it would be a miniature.
But you guys aren't noticing the craziest detail that I find.
Oh my God.
In my opinion, the craziest detail are the reflections on top of the train. The paint on the train is very dull. It's not reflective at all, and that was to minimize the blue spill on it, because they didn't have like all the crazy despilling tools we have today. And so they're like, we're trying to reflect as little light as possible. And the compositing software they're using that they developed called iComp, they're actually adding back in the reflections of the environment onto the train, which is a relatively doable thing today in compositing, but at the time was very difficult.
Wait, is that lens flare a custom John Knoll light?
It might be.
Because
Knoll Light Factory?
There was like a plugin called Knoll Light Factory.
Made by John Knoll, yeah.
Made by John Knoll. And I'm thinking about this lens flare, knowing he's the VFX soup on this. It's like, is this one of his signature lens flares?
I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised. One of these days, we will get John Knoll on the couch if he ever wants to come by, and we will ask him that exact question.
Maybe we should bring the couch to him.
Dude, that'd be sick. So then the interior of the tunnel.
All CGI.
It is. Notice how the actors in the train are getting hit by real lights, though.
Yeah.
They rigged up this huge light rig above the set of just static lights that would blink in succession to replicate the sensation of lights flying by really, really quickly. So that allowed them to basically line up and synchronize the CG lights with the real lights that were going by. But for the most part, everything we're seeing through this sequence is a CG tunnel, because they needed to be able to extend it into the distance and just continue having it fly by.
Oh, I love that shot.
All of the intention and skills behind cleverly executing on all these shots does start to fall apart a little bit on the interior of the tunnel here when some of the age of the CG starts showing its signs, right? But then we get to the explosion of the helicopter, where suddenly 100% of what you're seeing is real and combined together in post.
Those would be miniature assets, almost certainly.
How'd you get a miniature asset to do that?
I mean, I'm guessing they filmed it more just crashing. And again, since we're moving at such high speeds along the rails, if you just film it with some forward velocity, and it would still feel like it has appropriate velocity, because, of course, it was technically moving at that speed to begin with, right?
They actually did have a real tunnel that they built. It was 120 feet long. It was like a 3-foot tall tunnel. It was miniature work combined with full-scale plate photography of him on the train, and it's combined together in a way that works really well. And it's like, it just keeps going. There's so many shots here. And they had an actual sled that they put a miniature helicopter on, and they flung it down the tunnel at 50 miles an hour. And they were filming it at 120 frames per second. They just did this every night for I don't know how many days. So the iconic shot where he flies away from the explosion when he lands on the train is also a really interesting thing. They shot it at half speed. They did not undercrank. They did a thing called skip framing. They dropped every other frame of the stunt work of him flying towards the train at 15 miles an hour, and he was specifically acting at half speed. He was flailing his arms half as fast as he normally would because he knew they'd be fast forwarding that part of the shot. And then the moment he lands on the helicopter, they go back to real time 24 FPS.
Well, yeah, what a great scene.
This sequence alone basically defined the future of the Mission Impossible franchise. And they set out to try to make the most exciting action sequence of all time. And I think arguably they did.
Well, speaking of everything being done in camera, I also have an offering that I'd like to present. Have you guys seen The Substance?
Have you ever dreamt of a better version of yourself?
Are you talking about that movie where they did everything for real?
Yeah.
Younger, more beautiful, more perfect.
That was verbiage that was used. Here is where that gray area begins.
I know nothing about this other than your text box saying first birth.
There's something called the substance that when you inject it will create another you, but you have to take turns being conscious.
Dude, whoa, wait, hold up.
They did it all for real.
So, okay, that looks like it could be a real split there. It looks like that might be like real goop, but there's also like a weird shading thing underneath it. Maybe the exterior part of it is real, but the interior part is a CG thing.
Wait, hold on, they did it for real. That wasn't
Yeah.
CG. Oh,
Under the floor, they had
nice. That stuff looks good. I appreciate these real behind the scenes. The Mission Impossible stuff, sure, I understand how, it's serving the marketing purpose. This is like the no BS version.
legit.
Yeah.
This is where the magic is. This is what you fall in love with as a kid, like this stuff. So the younger version stayed way too long, started getting migraines. She runs into the bathroom and switches. And then Demi Moore comes back and realizes what happened to her body.
Dude, when you wake up, don't talk to me until I've had my coffee.
Dude, this is a full prosthetic like costume going on. She's even got the teeth.
So this is the interesting thing about this effect in particular. They had Demi Moore in full prosthetic makeup, but the thing is, Demi Moore is normally proportioned, right? This is supposed to be an old woman who is wasting away.
Right, yeah. Her arms are probably bigger than those tiny little limbs we're seeing.
Exactly. So that's where CG and compositing comes back into play in perfect integration.
Oh, fully replaced. Literally the only thing left is the neck up.
Isn't that crazy? It's so good. And then full background placement for the camera and the reflection. She realizes that younger version is killing her. And she calls up the company that does the substance and she says, I want to terminate this thing. And they're both awake at the same time.
More. More. Pretty sick.
That sequence can't go on YouTube.
Look, here's the reality. The Substance is a brutally violent film, and we can't show all of it here on YouTube. So if you want to see all the sweet, juicy little tidbits, head over to corridordigital.com. Start your free 2-week trial. Come on, take off that blur. So you're right. Why don't we dial down the intensity?
Yeah, let's bring it in.
Let's just bring it in. It really
All right.
softens as we get to the
I'm
end.
down to dial it back a little.
Oops.
What?
My final
Freaking
form.
Palpatine effect.
The Palpatine effect. You got stage 4 Palpatine.
What? Wait, is that a CG head?
While they did build a prosthetic and have a fake Demi Moore face on the back of it, they did a full CG replacement of that face
Wow, okay.
using volumetric capture.
Really?
Volumetric performance capture, basically a 3D scan that is footage, right? You're capturing multiple frames of a 3D scan. So while they capture the performance, there is still the massive undertaking of integrating that scan into a final render that looks like it's a part of the final image. And it took them about 6 to 7 months of back and forth
Whoa.
before they matched this specific aesthetic. To me, it just stands out as like, oh my gosh, the integration of this CG, what are we talking about? Practical's better than CG. What are we talking about?
This movie is nuts. What the heck?
Brother, I didn't even know what it was about when I started watching it.
It really feels like this whole no CGI is undermining the filmmaking process as a whole. The reason people say no CGI is to make it so that while you're watching it, it has a much bigger impact.
It's to try to extend the suspension of disbelief.
There is a way to bring the nuance to it. You can say, you don't have to say there's no CGI used. Like, we really flew a plane, we really built this GUI model thing, and we use CGI.
Yeah, CGI, major player in every major movie in the world. There's nothing wrong with it. It's good, it's cool, it looks awesome, and we're getting better and better. We take the hits when it's bad. Like, can we at least get the praise when it's good? And fun fact, no CGI was used in this episode.
We did this episode 100% for real.
Bye. Oh, he's just leaving him immediately. He has somewhere to be.
Yeah, you can
go
leave now. You can leave now.
All right, I'm out of here.